Okay, Dr. Ruth, this is Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Sheila, Dr. Ruth.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ruth.
Hi.
It has been said that a healthy heart equals a healthy brain. What activities do you recommend for seniors?
I'm not a medical person, so in my way of thinking, for seniors to be interested in something, in some other people, in something that happens in the world, not only to think about the virus. All of us have problems. All of us have worries about that virus, but to force yourself to think of something positive, like something in your childhood, like somebody you loved. Come here, I tell you something funny. Come here. Even a lover, even if nobody else knows about it, keep your mouth shut, close your eyes, and think of that lover, but don't tell anybody. I bet you that works. Watch the movie tonight on Hulu.
I will,
thank you. I've seen your movie. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Here is Karen. Now she's a little bit shorter, so I have to bend the microphone. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi, Karen. Nobody's as short as me. I'm 4'7". How tall are you?
I'm 4'9".
Oh, you're 2 inches taller than me.
I know.
What's your question?
My question is, what is your biggest accomplishment aside from fame?
Oh, boy. My biggest accomplishment is 4 grandchildren. Hitler, as you know, didn't want me to live. You'll watch it in the movie. But I have 4 grandchildren, 2 boys, 2 girls, that are brilliant and smart and really the joy of my life. So when somebody asks me my accomplishment, my son, a professor in Canada, Joel Westheimer, my daughter, a doctorate in education, both of them, lives in New York, takes good care of me. So the biggest accomplishment is 4 grandchildren. If you don't have grandchildren, find some of your friends and become a foster grandparent. That will change your life. Find some child who needs a short grammar. Tell them I said so.
Thank you.
Thank you. 4'9" she is.
Yeah, 4'9". This is Lydia. She was my first caller to come over and see you. And so we're excited to have her. Lydia?
Hi, Dr. Ruth.
Hi.
What a pleasure to meet you. I wish you were physically here, but
next time. You have a question?
I just want to tell you, no, I don't have a question. I wanted to tell you I watched the Hulu Ask Ruth,
yes,
your documentary. What an amazing story. And
wonderful. Tell them all to watch.
I have. I've been telling everybody. It is such an amazing story. And I do have a question. Did you have a brother-in-law named Paul?
I had no Paul.
Paul and Rose Westheimer, carrot farmers?
Certainly, they are cousins of my late husband, Fred.
Okay.
I still talk to Paul. Rose just passed away. I'm still friends with their daughters, Carol and Kim.
Yes, I took piano lessons by the same lady that they did. I remember them very well. Yes.
I will tell them. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Ruth. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Colette.
Yes.
Yes. So we have gone through a bunch of questions, and I think we'd like to hear a little bit more from you, and that might initiate some more questions.
Yes.
So we know that you've written over 40 books. So we're wondering what might have been some of your favorites.
I tell you what my favorite. First of all, the latest book, thank you for that question. The latest book is The Doctor is In. It shows my joie de vivre, my zest for life. And then I did children books. Those children books are now going to be at an exhibit at the Museum of Jewish Heritage in New York, where I'm on the board. One book is for little kids, Crocodile, You Are Beautiful. And it talks about diversity. And it tells little ants to be happy, to be an ant, because if they cooperate, they can build bridges. The other book is called Roller Coaster Grammar. It talks about my saying goodbye to my father when the Nazis picked him up in 1938, and I never saw him again, or my mother, or my grandparents. But it also, it shows that I went to Switzerland, I was saved, I made everybody sing the songs of the synagogue, the songs of my childhood. And then I tell them, I took 2 of my 4 grandchildren to an amusement park. We wanted to go on a ride. Guess what? Tell that to that woman who is 7, who is the short one, 4'9". Listen carefully. We want to go on a ride, we get measured. They can go on a ride, I'm too short. So I use humor, because in the Jewish tradition it says, a lesson taught with humor is a lesson retained. The 3rd children's book I did is about turtles. I have my whole house full of turtles, little turtles, because a turtle, if it stays in one place, it's very lonesome, it doesn't move. That turtle has to stick its neck out and take a risk to make some new relationships. Even during this terrible time of the virus, you can all make new relationships on Zoom. That's what helps me. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Also, I'm sure everyone in here is just really wanting to know where you get all your energy at 93, Dr. Ruth.
I tell you what I get. I sleep well, and I love what I'm doing. This is wonderful. Your questions today, that will make me smile for a whole week. So I'm very lucky that I can sleep, and that I eat well, and that I have help twice a week. That's enough. And that my energy comes from your questions. Thank you, people. Okay.
Now, Dr. Ruth, we have one last person that has a question for you.
Yes.
Her name is Judy.
Hi,
Dr.
Judy.
Ruth.
Hi.
I trained with Domina Renshaw in Loyola in Maywood. She was also a sex
Yes, she was.
therapist.
I
and
know
some
her. I knew
wonderful
her.
person, and she was very excited about you as well.
Right. And I knew her, and she was a wonderful sex therapist.
My question for you is, I'm a grandmother like you are.
Yes.
So what do you have of advice about grandchildren and all the sexual things they're seeing on TV?
Make believe that you don't know about it. Don't talk about it. As long as you just ignore it. And if they ask you a question, then you can say, ask your parents. It's not my task. But ignore it, because hopefully now that things are better, they will be out there playing sports and not watching so much television. Right now, during this difficult time, we had no choice but to make believe that we don't know it, that we don't see it. Nice question. Thank you. I
Tell
did
my
a book-
husband that.
I did a book about grandparents, grandparenthood. Get it?
Thank you, Judy. So we are just wondering, we'd like to know a little bit about your history. Colette and I would like to hear more about maybe your childhood and
Okay,
things of that nature.
Yeah, that's why I told everybody to watch the documentary, because I grew up in Frankfurt as an only child of Orthodox Jewish parents. And when the Nazis came to power, My father was picked up, you will see that in the film. He was picked up and for a labor camp. There were no concentration camp yet. And he wrote that I have to join the group of children who went to Switzerland so that he can come back from Buchenwald, from the labor camp to Frankfurt. I didn't want to leave. I was an only child. I had 13 dolls. I had doll houses. I had roller skates. I knew when that postcard came, I had to go. Now, in 1938, there was a conference in France, in Evian, and many, many countries participated. How to save German Jewry. That conference failed miserably. The only thing that came out of that conference was a cry, let's at least take the children, so that the parents will have an easier time to get to another country. I was sent to Switzerland. If I had been sent with a Kindertransport to Holland, Belgium, or France, I would not be alive. These children were killed. I was sent to Switzerland. The children's home became an orphanage. I never saw my parents, my grandmother from Frankfurt, who lived with us, my other grandparents in Wiesenfeld, my mother's parents. I never saw any of them again. So I'm on the board of the Museum of Jewish Heritage in New York. I am very active. We're going to have an exhibit about the Kindertransport and about books for children about the Holocaust. Mine don't talk about Auschwitz, don't talk about those horrible things, but they do talk about what it means to grow up as an orphan. So I was very fortunate that I'm alive, and that's why I have an obligation to stand up and be counted. I did not know that I would be talking about sex from morning till night, but I still have plenty of space to talk about education.
Wonderful, Dr. Ruth.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering that. And then this is Colette again. She has another question for you.
Yes. Hi, Colette.
Hi there again. Yeah, just curious, what's some of the best advice in your 93 years that someone has ever given you? Who was it and what did they tell you?
Who was it? I will not tell you because it was probably one of the lovers. So I'm not going to tell you. But I was married to Manfred Westheimer, who passed away many years ago. And he came from Karlsruhe, Germany. He was fortunate. His parents and him were safe because they went to Portugal, to Lisbon. And so he had a wonderful sense of humor, and he loved to watch The Odd Couple. And every time he watched The Odd Couple, he watched the same episodes 10 times. He said, Ruthie, come, you have to see that. I said, I saw that last week. But he used humor, and that's what's important in a relationship. So I was very fortunate. After 2 love affairs ending in marriage and divorce, I was married with Fred Westheimer for many, many years, and he adopted my daughter Miriam, and then we had my son Joel, and you have to make the best out of what you are being given. All of you caretakers, and all of you people in Seattle. Is that good advice?
It's great advice.
And all of you watch the movie on Hulu.
I know we're all going to be watching. I did watch your documentary last night. I know you have 4 grandchildren.
Yes.
And just curious, what advice, because most everyone here either has children or grandchildren, and what's advice, some of the best advice you've given them?
Okay, you keep your mouth shut. Let them tell you what they're doing. For example, my granddaughter Leora called me yesterday because she's now going to New York University Law School, and they had orientation yesterday. How fortunate I am to be a grandmother. Anybody who has that fortune, if you don't have grandchildren, adopt some from somebody else who doesn't have a grandmother or grandfather. Okay? Good advice?
Great advice.
Always good advice. Anything else that you'd like to share, Dr. Ruth? You've got an audience of about 30 people here, and everyone is just so excited to be here and to hear, honestly, anything else that you want to share, words of wisdom, pearls.
The one thing I want to do, please take away from this talk some optimism and make sure that those of you who are lonely are going to make a phone call to somebody and talk about positive things. Talk about that things will be better, that the health people are working, that fortunately we are alive, and all the very, very best to all of you. Ciao, au revoir, all the best. Let's all say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Can they all say shalom? Shalom means peace. And they will see in the documentary that I was a sniper in the Haganah, that I was badly wounded, but they fixed me so well, I can dance. I could, not anymore. Dance the whole night.
We saw you dancing on your 90th birthday, Dr. Ruth.
Yes, we saw it.
You did.
So real quickly, you did bring up a good question. I don't think the audience knew that you were a sniper. Can you just kind of elaborate?
Yes. In Israel in 1948, all of us, not just me, went into some part of the army to defend Israel of all of the surrounding enemies. I was in the Haganah. You will see it in the documentary. I know how to shoot. I know even how to shoot very well with a Sten gun. I knew how to throw hand grenades. I was badly wounded on both legs. That's not why I'm short. I would have been short anyway. But I was badly wounded on both legs in Jerusalem from a cannonball that tore through both my legs. But there was a brilliant surgeon and fixed me, and I became later, I can dance, which they saw me, and I was a black diamond skier. I love to ski, not anymore, but I smile when I say the word skiing. All of you, thank you so very much.